Creativity is the ability to create items that inspire and inform others, often in an aesthetically
Aesthetically,
pleasing way, said Aldo Saraleno. Creativity is being able to express oneself in different variety of arts, painting, poetry, sculpture, style, fashion, etc. And being creative helps you become a better problem solver in all areas of your life and work. Creativity helps you see things differently. Studies show that creative people are better able to live with uncertainty because they can adapt their thinking to allow for the flow of the unknown. And it's an invaluable skill for a college student. It's important because it helps you look at the problem and situation from a fresh perspective. You have to believe in it before you see it. Welcome to Be the CEO of Your Life series on Manthan with Saraswati. After successfully running the festival series, doctor series, educator series, and discussion with people who have shared their various experiences and vision on this platform, I'm inviting the youth who have taken charge of their life to come and share the knowledge and experience to guide and empower the youngster. Today is the third episode on this series, Be the CEO of Your Life. While we are talking about creativity, filmmaking is also a creative field that involves a number of complex and discrete stages, starting with an initial story, idea, or commission. In a film, continuity is the principle of making sure that all details in the film or TV show are consistent from shot to shot, from scene to scene. A script supervisor plays a crucial role in the making of a film or television. They observe the shot from behind the camera and take accurate and detailed notes to provide directors and editors for the authenticity. Today, we are in conversation with an energetic, talented, young script and continuity supervisor from the Bollywood or the Indian cinema. Welcome to Manthan with Saraswati, Sukriti Rahul Sharma.
Hi, first of all, I think your introduction missed a point saying that I was your student in school, and I'm still very much
Ah,
your student.
okay.
And hello, everyone, and I'm so honored to be here because Miss Saraswati has been my mentor, my guru, and to literally have her interview me about my life and what I do in my profession. I don't even know where to begin because I was the most naughtiest kid in her class. And now suddenly, for me to like chat with her about all of these things, I mean, it's such a surreal feeling. So thank you so, so, so much for having me and thinking that I was worthy of being on your chat show and worthy enough for you to ask me all the things that you're planning on asking me. So thank you and love you.
Love you also, Sukhu. And Sukriti is my favorite student, although very naughty in her school years, but she was a darling and she was very close to my heart. So, yes, she introduced herself as my student. I'm equally proud in saying that she is my student. And I feel very, very happy and excited to have you here today. Sukriti, welcome to Manthan with Saraswati once again.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Beta. And let me introduce you to my viewers, yeah? Sukriti Rahul Sharma. She studied at Symbiosis, Pune. She pursued media studies and specialized in audiovisual. Presently, she is a script and continuity supervisor in the Indian film industry. Currently working on the film called Om, The Battle Within. It's Aditya Roy Kapoor, and the film is under post production.
Yes.
She has worked on films like Piku, Bagi 3, Karanjeet Kaur, Commando 3, Love Sonia, Patched.
Wow.
When it comes to Stevie, she has also worked for IPL and the very well known Kaun Banega Karodpati or the KBC. She has been a part of a documentary film called Cheerharan. She is an aspiring director and hopes that she can make films that will entertain you, that is us, and also she would like to do anything that is meaningful or important to the society. She is a young, talented artist who has worked on several ads. And back in college, she has won awards for her wildlife photography. And she is also a professionally trained Kathak dancer. And I know this very, very well. She has been to Dubai recently and she has given lecture in Gem School. She also happened to judge a few kids. They made films from their homes. It
Yeah.
was amazing, according to her. We are very, very, very happy to have you on the show. And without much ado, and I think we want to get into conversation. What do you think?
Firstly, I didn't go to Dubai, sadly, because of the whole virus situation. But yeah,
Okay.
I mean, I spoke to them virtually, and there were so many kids, and I was so nervous to actually give them a, to advise them because I'm nobody to advise because I was the most horrible student. So imagine me advising other students as to what they should do, and I'm just thinking that I really hope and pray that whatever I say reaches them in a good way and they don't walk on my footpath because you would know it best. I'm not really the kid whose footpath you should follow or not.
I don't agree with that at all. You have become a kid who I'm very proud of you because you have turned into what you should be and you have walked your life. So let us get into the conversation and let's bring out the what Sukriti Rahul Sharma is.
Yes,
Okay, let's do it, Sukriti. So and by the way, everything is virtual now. Even now, see, look at what we are interviewing. So
yes,
technology rocks.
rocks. Yes,
Yes.
absolutely.
So good. So let's get into the conversation.
Yeah.
Okay. Whenever I have a guest on my show, my first question always to them is what motivated them and what made them get into the field. So my question to you is what, when, and how did you decide to move into the Indian cinemas and start into being a script and a continuity supervisor? People think of going into acting and becoming thing, and Sukriti Rahul Sharma thought of going and being a script and a continuity supervisor. So, what made you do that? What made you decide that?
I think ever since a kid, I was very inclined towards telling stories in the sense that even if it was me having to make up a great excuse, I would come up with a great story. Like, even if I got into trouble for doing anything wrong, I would come up with a great story. I loved the idea of storytelling. And then the idea of cinema just played a huge part in it because I feel like when you can visually show somebody something and you can help them transport into a world, that idea was just amazing to me.
Mhm.
So that is something that always kind of pulled me towards it. And I think the final push to actually being like, okay, I want to become a filmmaker is when I actually joined college and started watching all these world cinema films. Like, I was amazed at the creativity that lies within the world and the way people can imagine and think about things. Like, even if, on one hand, you have a Satyajit Ray who makes films about reality, and on the other hand, you have films like Harry Potter, which have nothing to do with reality. And no matter which film you watch, you felt every emotion in each film. So I think that is something that really, always drew me towards it. That's something that I was always inspired how much liberty you can take with your creativity in the field of cinema. Finally, when I entered college and I actually learned about it, I realized that, there was so many things that, I also wanted to tell as a person in the film line. Like, I feel like there are so many things that you can make in order to entertain the audience, but at the same time, you can have a message across with that film. Yeah, so those were things that I instantly connected to, I felt passionate about, and I felt like this is my calling.
That's
And
wonderful.
and I've never been that person who could do XYZ things if I didn't want to do it. Like, even as a kid, if I didn't want to play sports, I wouldn't play sports. If I didn't want to sit in a class, I wouldn't sit in the class. And I would not care about what the repercussions would be. I would just do as my heart said. And that's always been me. If I want to sleep in the class, I will sleep in the class. You know, Yeah, and you
Who is
know
a
that.
better person to justify or, to put a stamp and say, yes,
Yes,
that
exactly.
is what Sukriti was.
Exactly. I knew that it would require a lot of hard work. I would have struggled in the industry because I think any creative field has that. You know,
Mm.
when you work in a corporate place, you know that, okay, you're going to join at this level, and after a few years, you're going to get promoted, and then you're going to get promoted, and XYZ. It doesn't happen in our industry. That is not how it functions. I was well aware of these scenarios. So if it is going to be a struggle, I'm going to take it and I'm going to ace it.
That's what the passion in you finally
Yes.
brought you, right? So we can say that the passion in you unlocked your true potential, and then you landed up in the film industry, right? So, Sukriti, I believe that everyone has a talent, right? Ability or skill that he can mine to support himself or herself to succeed in life. Everybody has that. When you ventured into the film industry, what types of skills and experiences do you think would have been key to be success in this your chosen field? We would like to know what are the skill rather than the experience.
You know, to be really honest with you, Miss, I don't think that you need a certain amount of education to be in this field. And I also don't feel like you need a certain amount of skills to be in the field. I think whatever you want to do in this field, the best part about it is that you learn it with experience. For example, an engineer can also become a filmmaker. And we have a lot of those people who were engineers and now are filmmakers. Or
Hmm.
even a doctor can say tomorrow that, I feel passionate about making films and can join the industry. That is one thing that I feel like you don't really need an education for. Yes, I went to college and I studied about it, and I had a little seed in my head which then transfer, a tree
Spoke.
maybe. Yeah, exactly. Where I was able to watch world cinema, like I was able to watch Iranian movies or French movies or whatever.
Hmm.
What I feel is that one, you need the fire and the passion to be here, and two, you need to be a visionary. If you want to make films, you need to have a very clear vision that, okay, this is my film, this is what I want to talk about, this is exactly what I want the audience to feel when I make them watch this scene, this is exactly the emotion that I want it to hit when the audience is watching it.
Hmm.
So I feel like that is something that a filmmaker should be very clear about. That this is what I want to show the audience, and this is exactly how it needs to come across. Like if I at this point I want them to cry, then you need to make sure what are you going to incorporate in the scene, what dialogues are you going to incorporate, what BGM, like background music, all of it as a package placed together that the audience has the same emotion that you want them to feel.
Wow, really impressed with how passionate you are about bringing the thoughts into reality. Yeah, very very
Yeah,
impressive.
whatever field that you choose, actually, like if you want to become a production designer, if the director has a vision that the place needs to look dark and dingy, then what exactly should your props and what exactly should your color theme be in order for the visuals to come across exactly like that?
So
So
it's a
if
vivid imagination you got to have in your head before.
absolutely, like as I said, whatever field it is, you need to be a visionary for it. At least as an artist, you need to be a visionary.
Okay, so when you're talking so much, why don't you describe how your work environment looks like? Because see, the people going to watch us, they
Right.
don't know what script writer or continuity script writer is, So because you're on the show today, and I would really love if you could talk more about like when you have said so much about your passion, you know what it is, and you know how to bring the emotion to light using props and various kind of lightings, etc., etc. Lead us with what your work environment is.
So I think what I really enjoy about my work environment would be that when we all sit together, we talk about different creative ideas, especially when we start making a film. The idea of it from pre-production, when we just read this scene written on a script, to actually then going into production and having it being shot in front of you,
Mm.
the way that from A to B, when you reach that, I think that creative process I really, really enjoy. So, for example, if the script is written like so and so person takes his bike and then he rides his bike and then he goes into the lane and then he takes a left, you imagined it when I spoke about it. But
Mm.
actually, then seeing it being shot in front of you, that, okay, I'm going to place the camera right in front, and then the person is going to come like this, and then he's going to take a left. That actually visually happening in front of you and actually seeing it being created. Okay, you wanted it to be a straight road. So the straight road is like that, but then you have like a canopy of trees around it. So how that would visually play,
Mm.
and then finally seeing it on the edit table, whatever happens in the screenplay before and after, and seeing the whole thing together as a scene. I
Yeah.
think that is something that I really, really enjoy, from reaching A to Z and then actually releasing the film, and then the audience suddenly talking about it. Did you see that scene in which he rides straight and then he takes a left? People talk about it. And then suddenly you're like, yeah, we were like four of us talking about it in our office, and suddenly millions of people have seen it and they are talking about it. I think that is something that I really enjoy in my work environment. And the fact that, you talk about other films that are being released and then we like dissect the films. Like just recently, I saw the trailer of Gangubai and I was really amazed by how it was such a visual treat. Like the
Mm.
way color blue is used, and the color white is used. It
Mm.
was just beautiful to see because there's this song that came out in that film where everybody else is wearing colored clothes, but Alia Bhatt is the only one who's wearing white and she pops in that color. So
Mm.
just those are things that I would notice when I would watch. Dissecting those things. I ended up watching RRR trailer. Background music of this is just so impactful. Or like I just saw the teaser of this movie called Jhund, starring Mr. Amitabh Bachchan. I had goosebumps literally because of just listening to the background music, and I'm like, this plays such a big impact because visually when I'm watching it, that's one sense of mine. But my other sense of hearing it is actually what's giving me goosebumps. So the
Mm.
whole, like just dissecting the film, sitting in my work environment while everybody else will also speak about these things, I love it.
Yeah, that's,
You know,
it's just showing that what an interest you have in these and how visual and the audio and the visual effect can be felt.
yeah.
And if it is combined with with creativity, which any line which enters into art demands, you can have an amazing spellbound experience.
I don't know if you've ever experienced it, but if suddenly you see a scene in which there are roses and petals and it's all beautiful, I feel like I can even smell it. I feel like even
Happens. It
that.
happens. It actually
Exactly.
happens. Yes, yes.
Exactly. Or suddenly if you watch a film like Gangs of Wasipur, when they're taking you into these really dungy, dark streets in which you know that the smell's gonna be really
Very.
disgusting, but you can still smell it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy, you know?
Yeah. Yes, yes. I can understand. I mean, I can, from your expressions, I can feel the love and that
Yeah.
how involved you get with all these things. It's so amazing, Sukriti, to hear from you that the child who was very naughty now has so much of knowledge and is sharing her expertise now. I mean, we can call it as your expertise on this show, so just which makes me very proud. Okay, now when you talk about all these things, scene setting and arranging the script and all, and I know it's not an easy job. It requires tremendous amount of time and labor and dedication and perseverance also. There may be many occasions when you will be like, you're not able to visit your friends or you're not able to visit your family because your schedule must be really very, very tight. So my question to you would be, what keeps you motivated during this grilling process? And I know I've heard that it is about 18 hours of work you guys do. So when people say you are an MIA while you're shooting and you work long hours, so it's very tiring, right? So what keeps you motivated during these times?
I think even though I might not be able to make time for my family when I have, my work commitments, I think what keeps me motivated is also my family.
Mm.
Because at the end of the day, if you have your family beside you, no matter what and how stressful it can be, you're at the end of the day, if I make that one phone call to my mom and I'm like, I'm really tired, ma, she will cheer me up.
Mm.
Even if it's like just a 2 minutes conversation, she will tell me some hot piece of gossip, maybe. Or, she will tell me, I bought you this. Or she'll tell me that, okay, why don't you eat something really nice? Okay, I'll give you a recipe. Why don't you make it for yourself? Anything. It can be any conversation. Or, if I call my sister up and then she will tell me about how her day was also equally tiring. Suddenly I've forgotten about my day and I'm, listening about her, my fiance.
Yeah.
Yes. So even talking to him, I mean, at the end of the day, what keeps you motivated is that they're always your stress busters. Whenever you do get time, you go, you spend time with them, and then you suddenly switch off from everything else, and you're just with your family, and that's your refresh. Like that's the time when you get refreshed, and then come back again to work. Another thing that always keeps me going is I know what I signed up for. I'm not here to become the best assistant director. I know I'm not here to become the best continuity script supervisor. I'm here to make films. And that is my end goal. So if I need to reach that end goal, I need to work all of this in order to achieve what I was here for. So I think that is another thing that always keeps me going, that never forget. Maybe today I'm unable to attend something, maybe a function that's happening in my house or whatever. But at the end, like when I do make I make my film, they will not remember that I didn't attend that function. They are going to be proud of me. And that
Yes,
was my end goal.
that's
So
wonderful.
when it comes to prioritizing, my family first, always. When I
I think
reach
it's
that,
okay. I think people will understand that
exact,
what you have signed up for and they have supported you. And also believe that even I'm also there for you. Anytime you feel low,
I
you can always call me and
I know.
just
And
talk
you,
and we can
and I'll
talk.
tell you, Miss Saraswati, you have some hot piece of gossip for me.
Of course, I do have it. And what
Yeah, 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 yeah.
okay. See, I've shared this lines even in the previous episode of CEO of my life. See, it said that it's hard to beat a person who never gives up. Okay, it's by George Herman Ruth. When you have so much to do in life, when you know that sky is the limit for your future because you aim so high in life, in this process, how do you manage your priorities or meet the deadline? Do you have any funder to say that, okay, these are my priorities and this is what I do to manage my priority or my deadline?
I think, firstly, it's so important if you have signed up to be in a field which requires you more than a 9 to 5. And they are, as you keep growing, you're obviously going to have more and more responsibility in the project that you're involved in. Like from an intern to a continuity script supervisor, obviously the responsibilities on my shoulders have increased. They have increased because I have been committed.
Hmm.
Because I have been committed, I am going to be able to grow in life. So when I am going to make sure that I'm reaching my deadlines is because the other person is hiring me because they trusted in me. The thing is, you cannot take your position for granted. I feel like there are so many people who are struggling to be in your shoes, in your position, that it is so important for you to know that they have trusted you with this. So if you're not going to meet your deadlines, if you're not going to take responsibility of the work that you've been given, there's no chance in hell that you're going to get your next project or you're going to be able to make it.
So, Kriti, if we have to sum up with how do you meet your priorities and deadlines, so we can say that commitment, trustworthy, and take responsibility will be the main thing, which that will be how you manage your priorities to meet your deadlines. Can
Yeah.
you say that?
Yeah, because are you ever going to sign me for your next project if you gave me a deadline and I didn't meet it? You're
Yeah,
not.
yeah, definitely.
You are going to tell me that Suk, I love you. You're great as a person, but I don't think I can trust you with this.
Yeah, true.
No one is going to. And the thing is that in the projects that we work, so much money is involved that every person who has a department under them or whatever department that you're working for, you need to do it 100%. Otherwise, you're not going to be hired again. Let's be really honest. No matter which company or whatever you do in the world,
Sure.
no matter what you do, how small or big, you got to do what you got to do in order for you to get your next job or for you to grow in life or you to reach what you're actually here for.
Very impressive and very, very brilliant thoughts and very captivating thoughts you're sharing with us, Sukriti. Why don't you throw some light on the challenges you have faced? Let me put it this way. You work on a project for 18 hours. There would have definitely been a moment where you would have had ideas to put it across. You say, okay, now this is how it is. Now this is the situation and this is what we do. So, what was your biggest challenge and how has your responsibilities changed since you began working?
Firstly, I don't think responsibilities change as you start working. I think responsibilities change as you grow
Mm-hmm.
in life.
Okay.
Like my responsibilities when I was 5 opposed to when I'm 10 opposed to when I'm 20 opposed to when I'm 28 today are going to be different at every
Mhm.
challenge. So
Okay.
I think you need to as you keep growing, your responsibilities are going to keep growing. Like tomorrow, maybe I'm going to be married and I'm going to have kids. Again, my responsibilities are going to be different. I would
Mm-hmm.
be responsible for somebody else's life as well. So I
Right.
don't think responsibility needs to change just because you start working. I think you need to start being responsible as you keep growing.
Wonderfully said. I love it.
Yeah, so that's something that I feel genuinely.
Okay.
And to answer the other part of your question, like what have my challenges been? I
Mm-hmm.
think my first and foremost challenge was just getting work. As freelancers, it's so tough. Truth is that when you start out and you're freelancing, someone's gonna tell you, you know what, a new project is starting, you should definitely apply for it. And then you apply for it, maybe at the most junior level that you apply for it, they're going to tell you, yeah, we are looking for somebody at this level, but with a little more experience. So
Ah.
I'm thinking in my head, if nobody wants to give me this experience, how am I supposed to ever land a job? But I think, touch wood, thank God that there were people, who were ready to pay you a little lesser, but ready to give you the opportunity so that you could, you know, go step by step and probably reach the doors that I have today. I've seen a lot of failures myself. Like I have applied for so many films and I've been rejected straight up on my face saying, but you don't have enough experience. And I even remember once I walked into this production house and then they said the same thing. Yeah, we are looking for somebody at that junior level, but you don't have enough experience. And I actually banged my hand like that. And I was like, if you're not going to give experience, then how the hell is somebody supposed to apply for the job? Because nobody is ready to give you an experience. How does one get to that experience?
Mm.
That's when I started doing all of these smaller things like ad films, etc. Just to get that little experience. So those have been challenges that I have seen, and even just as a personal challenge or whatever, like the current film that I'm working on, like Om the Battle Within,
Mhm.
I actually got diagnosed with a slip disc,
Mhm.
and
Oh my God.
yeah, and I did the entire film with a slip disc. As we speak of responsibility, someone trusted me to do the job. So
Mhm.
even if yes, I have slip disc, and yes, I need to make sure that my physical, health is at risk or whatever, I made sure that I am taking care of both. But I'm actually doing my job as well. But I am taking care of myself as well. So when I needed to, I used to put a cold pack on my back, sit there, and just still do my job.
Wonderful. I'm really impressed and with see how passionate you're about your work. Yeah, and I'm happy that you have faced challenges and you have come out with flying colors, and you are gaining more experience. And I'm sure, and I wish you all the best that you be more successful. And when you produce or you direct a movie, you better give me a free ticket to come and watch it. Yeah,
Premiere first
a
row.
premiere, first row. Wonderful, great. I'm so amazed listening to what you are sharing. The emotion brings out, shows the passion that you really love your job and you wish to continue with it. I'm so happy. I want to quote what John Davis says about education. Education is not preparation for life. Education is life itself. So
Wow.
you have made your life and you chose a field which is not so conventional for a woman,
Yeah.
right? Because see, you have your chosen field is totally different. I mean, it's not the conventional field which a woman would choose for because it's not easy and it is very, very demanding. So when you were studying, or I can put it like, what did you enjoy the most about your education?
Uh,
There are two questions in this, huh?
Firstly, I feel that the future is women.
Mhm. Oh.
And yeah, because I mean, we can give birth. So, what is more magical than that? I also feel that thank God that there are already a lot of women who have made their place in the industry. Whether you have a commercial director like a Farah Khan, or you have a Zoya Akhtar who's making Gully Boy, and which is taking the film to a global level, or
Mhm.
you have an Ekta Kapoor who's one of the biggest producers that we have,
Mhm.
and you have a woman called Kiko. She's a cinematographer. She's Japanese, but she works in the Indian film industry. It's like women have already done so much. So when I had to walk in, I was not scared at all. These women have already done so much phenomenal work that you cannot not take a woman seriously anymore. Women are reaching space. Space, what is filmmaking? You have women working for the biggest companies in the world. I mean, look at your daughter. She's working for one of the biggest companies out there. They're already phenomenal women,
Yeah.
who are doing great work. So for
Wow.
me, I was not scared to get into the field because there were already women ahead of me. If someone's gonna mess with me, I'll tell them who I am also. Even back in the days, I mean, Meena Kumari ji, Rekha, who've done such phenomenal work in our field. Madhu Balaji, Helen. I mean, Helen was one of the most bold women out there. So it's not like women aren't doing it. I mean, look at a Priyanka Chopra. I mean, she's global domination. So women are actually really out there. So women can give birth, and I think that's the biggest thing. There's
Hmm.
nothing gets better than that. And women are the future.
Okay,
So
great.
what I
Okay.
loved about my education now was when we were actually in college, just the fact that we were introduced to so much different kind of cinema. Because sitting in my house when I was back in school, I didn't even know such movies existed. I didn't even know such films were being made in the world. Like being introduced to a Majid Majidi who does such exceptional work, or even somebody like Satyajit Ray who's from our country. I didn't even know the kind of films that they had made.
Hmm.
So just being introduced to all of that cinema and actually seeing, like, I watched this film called The Bicycle Thieves in college. That film, it comes from Italian realism times, and that film is actually made with people in who are not actors.
Okay.
And it's a story about a man who loses his cycle. And because he loses his cycle, all his work depends on that cycle, because he actually goes all around his area putting posters on that cycle, and that's his job.
Hmm.
So, as tiny as this thought, but just imagine like people thinking about all of this.
Yeah.
So, you thought this much, and suddenly you watch all that, and then your horizon just suddenly broadens. Like you're like, okay, so I can think like this also, but I can think like this also. And that's exactly what cinema is. I
Mm.
don't need to be confided in this space. I can think of anything. I
Yeah.
can think of the tiger in my film can actually have wings.
Yes.
If exactly. So I didn't like that is something that I learned in college, that I don't need to confine myself self in only the reality that revolves around me. And I've only seen the world this much. It's
Yeah.
way bigger than that.
Yeah. See, it's also said that, education is a ray of light in the darkness. So
Yeah.
you can, it is just a ray. You can imagine anything, it
Anything, yeah.
feels
And
knowledge.
maybe you see the sun as this yellow object in the sky, but I can choose to show it as something pink or blue or
Yes.
whatever, and I can still tell you that's the sun, and you'll believe it because I said it in my film. And you'll believe it because you're watching my story. And
Yeah.
that's exactly what I learned in college, that I don't need to think just this much. I can think anything and I can portray anything, and you'll buy it.
Uh,
If I just tell my story correctly and bang on, and
yes.
I captivate you, and I make you emote all those things that I want you to feel, you'll believe it by the end of the day that that sun was actually pink color.
Very nice, Sukriti. Your open-mindedness is truly, truly inspirational and truly admirable also. And I really wish that, someday when you direct a movie or I'm going
Fingers
to be there.
crossed. Fingers
Keeping your fingers crossed. Okay. Now, if Sukriti, you're talking so much about, education and what your experiences, what your perspective can be, I would like to say to my viewers that we are in conversation with Sukriti. She is the script and continuity supervisor in the Indian film industry. So I want you to advise the youngsters who are watching our show. What advices you would give from your experiences to the youngsters for to be successful in future from your experience, yeah? Your perspective? What are the 3 points?
I think this whole conversation is revolved around my passion. So I think number one would definitely be passionate. Like, be passionate about whatever you do, even if it's, selling newspaper. Just be passionate about it. Like, whatever is your ultimate goal in life, just make sure that you work towards it and do it with utmost love and passion, because it will give you results.
Yeah.
Second would be, I get really irritated when people aren't grateful for what they have. Like when people say, they had this and they had that or whatever. Like, why aren't you happy within what you have and be grateful for what you have? The fact that you have a roof above your head, food on your plate, a great family, just be grateful for it. And uh, so just I would just really hope and pray that people are really grateful for what they have. That's something that I feel every single day. Like, I am so grateful for the family that I have. I'm so grateful for the work that I do. I'm so grateful for all the experiences that I had. And I think third would be, stop comparing anyone to anyone. Like, people really compare, themselves to each other, especially in this digital age that we live in, because we have so many things that we are able to see on Instagram or whatever. I really get irritated with that. And this is not, and I'm nobody to advise anyone, because honestly, each to their own. But people really need to stop comparing. Just be happy, grateful, happy, be passionate about what you do, live your life bindas.
That those are some philosophical views coming from a girl.
Yeah.
Like, go bang on, and you know, you have so much of spirituality in you. I mean, that probably that is needed when you have to calm yourself down and you have to, bring the best in you. These are the very important things. I think, as an elderly person, I would advise that. But it coming from Sukriti as a young, inspiring lady who was very childish and very kiddish, and now you're hearing such amazing thoughts from you is truly inspirational, and I feel awe about it.
Ah, and what you say makes me oh.
Okay, so Kriti, I want to ask you something. I mean, now with the changing world, with with Instagram coming up, everybody doing reels and shorts.
Short
Yeah,
film. Yeah.
yeah, short films. So, what do you think is has the pandemic played, and how is technology involved in all this? And what's your take on that?
The fact, when you say short films, I actually love the idea, because I feel like everyone is a filmmaker in that sense.
Mhm.
Like, somebody working in a corporate field might be really creative but never really got a chance, because they had XYZ responsibilities. Or even like I meet all of these spot dadas on set who would tell me that they actually came to Bombay to become actors, but then they couldn't do it because they had responsibility and they had to earn for their families. So
Yeah,
I think with the digital age, it kind of gives them that little push.
to
Like, maybe
edge
they
to
could,
yeah.
yeah, like maybe they couldn't do it professionally, but as a passion, they can,
Mm.
suddenly. Like, I have the liberty to just pick up my phone, make a little, I can tell my XYZ person or whatever, these are your lines and this is your character and this is how I want you to do it. And, you just have to enact it out, cut to,
Mm.
I'm going to like shoot this. So suddenly, maybe you might not be able to do it professionally, but as a passion, I think people are able to now do that.
Mm.
Like, I met this one peon at the office and he said, have you seen my TikTok? And
Mm.
I was like, nay, nay, dikhao. And then, he shows it to me and he really dances well. So he said, Mujhe dancer bana tha, but I couldn't because of the responsibilities that I had, because I had a kid really early on. So I had to earn for my family. But
Mhm.
maybe professionally they are doing XYZ, but because of this digital age, they suddenly can have their passion also turned into something fun.
Mm.
So I think that is the kind of liberty that it gives them. And sometimes people really have creative ideas. It's amazing. It can be the most simple things, but it can just hit you.
Brilliant. So it means technology has helped everybody in being what they are, and they can be what they want. So,
Absolutely.
see, I read it somewhere that don't be someone who ends up with regret because you don't follow your dreams. Take a chance, take the risk. That will be a memory that will be with you for rest of your life, says Catherine Pulsifer. Okay. So if I have to ask you, what was your aha moment in your all this career for so long?
I think the minute I was born was a aha moment.
Ah, Meenu should be very happy now.
Yeah.
She's listening to it.
So yeah, she has to. She doesn't have a choice. Her kid is speaking. She needs to know "Thai bol rahi hai, theek bol rahi hai," all of that. I think the minute I was born was my aha moment. I genuinely feel very, very blessed, fortunate to be who I want to be, and that I think is 100%. The whole credit goes to my mother. So my aha moment was that I was born to the best mother in the world,
Oh,
and
wonderful,
she
wonderful. See, Sukriti, I know that you lost your father very young, but you are a very strong, resilient person who is able to handle just everything and everything, okay, in a very smooth way. You are going to be such a role model for everyone who is inspired to get into your line. I'm very, very sure about it. Okay, so wishing you all the best. Such beautiful thoughts, that you have such honest feelings and a very truly infectious personality. And I'm sure you will be able to throw positive impact on everybody around you. I'm
you
sure you
complimented me so much and put me on cloud nine that tonight I'm not gonna get sleep.
that's the idea. I would like to end the show with the amazing thought of Neural Strode. Do not follow where the path may lead. Go instead where there is no path and leave a trail. Friends, ponder over this and enjoy the weekend. Once again, I want to thank Sukriti Rahul Sharma for taking her time out and sharing her splendid and captivating thoughts with us. It was truly wonderful having you on my show. And I want to sincerely thank Mr. Suresh, my husband, who is really helping me bring this talk show to you all. Kindly like the page Manthan with Saraswati. And this is Saraswati saying bye bye and thank you for watching.
Thank you for having me on the show. This was honestly a pleasure, and I'm so happy that again that you thought I was worthy of this. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And again, thank you, sir. Thank you for helping out as well. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.